Hey, social media world. I am back with episode number 2 of Out on a Limb, and I'm coming to you today from my car because I have a very busy day, and I thought the best way to do this and the best way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone effectively was to answer your questions while at the same time going about all my chores and errands that I have to run today. Now, first of all, actually, before I start, I just want to say thank you to you guys for the feedback that I've had since episode 1 of Out on a Limb. I purely did it to try and save myself some time from continually answering people's questions physically by typing through email or through social media direct messages, and I did that first initial episode, and the feedback has been pretty phenomenal, to be honest. And I've had Forces TV and BFBS TV and all these other guys contacted me and running these little articles about it because they wanted to know what it was that inspired me to do this. And honestly, it was you guys, your guys' curiosity and your interest in not only my life and my story, but my life now, my life as an amputee, and how I get about a lot of my daily things. And it got me thinking actually to back when I was first injured, and how actually I had a lot of questions as well, and there were no answers out there. As much as I tried and I searched, I couldn't find the answers, and that was one of the things that compelled me to do this. So thank you guys for helping make this a reality, for the support that you're giving to it so far, and I hope it is valuable to you. And if you're out there as an amputee or someone facing adversity, I hope it is a way to help you and keep you moving forward. Now, the question that I've had this week is kind of two questions in one. Well, they're actually 4, but I'm only going to answer 2 of them because they'll be here all day else. But it was from my good friend Keith Ross, who actually came up with the idea for Out on a Limb as a name for this little Q&A segment. And although I know Keith quite well, he actually wanted to know what a normal day in my life was like. Now, the short answer to that question is there is no normal day in my life. I don't have a normal routine. I don't get up, I don't work a 9 to 5. That's the short way to answer it. The long way, I'd probably be here for a week trying to tell you what my day's like. So I'm going to do the best that I can to explain to you what an average day in my life is like, what a more common day is like for me, because they do range. One day I could be on a plane to Hong Kong, which I will be next month, and one day I could be putting in 14 hours down at the gym trying to grow my business. But in essence, a normal day for me starts most days at between 5 and 5:15, and that is partly through habit, but mostly through choice. I choose to do that because, you know, I've always been an early riser, but I've always also been somebody who embraces life. You know, we have a limited amount of time on this planet, and I really don't want to waste most of it sleeping. I will sleep enough to be healthy, but most of the time I want to be up there grinding, you know, and hustling and doing what I can to move my life forward. So a typical day starts for me about 5:15 in the morning. Now, I normally get up, and 2, maybe 3 days a week, I go down into the amputee torture chamber, which is my garage at my house, and I'll do some form of fasted cardio, whether that's on my hand bike, whether that is on my treadmill that I've just got, you know, or by some other means. I'll go out and I'll do some fasted cardio, do some abs, really get my body moving, get my heart pumping, and get myself focused and anchored and ready for the day. And if I'm not doing that, I'll get up in the morning, and rather than work my body, I'll work my mind, and I will effectively prime myself for the day. So I'll get myself in the right state of mind to go out and be as productive in that day as I possibly can. So I've got a morning routine. It's kind of like a meditation, a ritual that I go through. I have a list in my phone which consists of things I'm grateful for, things I am striving to achieve. I've written down where I want my life to be in 12 months time, and I'll get up and I'll focus on that for 5, 10, 15 minutes every day that I'm not training physically, I'm training myself mentally. And I find both of those ways are fantastic to start the day and get your day off to the best start. I used to start, my day, I guess like a lot of people do, and I'd get up at a reasonable time, flick the telly on, have some breakfast, watch the news, find out what's going on in the world. And then it kind of hit me one day, and I realized that by doing that, not only was I wasting a few hours of the day, but what I found by watching the news was that it really set me up in the opposite way, and that made me leave my house feeling like shit, because everything that I was listening to and watching was so negative. It was always some tragedy on the news, something negative, and I guess that's what gets people to tune in and watch. Human nature, to a degree, it is drawn to that kind of stuff, and I really found it was screwing me up. By the time I left the house, I was just in such a negative state, I didn't really want to do anything, and I found it hard to be productive and achieve things. And as soon as I realised that, I stopped watching the news. I don't read the newspapers. I'll catch up a little bit. You get a lot of stuff through Twitter and Facebook and other people passing it on, but I found by cutting that out of that morning routine, that really helped set me up for the day. So getting up, being physical, working out mentally, cutting out that negative start to the day, and then obviously something you guys know that I'm quite passionate about is starting the day with a healthy meal, a healthy breakfast. Now, as a bilateral above knee amputee, I think I've said before, it takes me between 300 and 500% more energy than an able-bodied person. So my diet has to be pretty good. Even if I'm not competing in any sort of sporting activity, I still have to kind of live a disciplined life like an athlete. So once I've done all that, I start my day with a healthy, nutritious breakfast, and then by about 7:15 I am ready to go for the day. Now, if I have a speaking engagement, a charity event to attend, something that's going to take me away from Plymouth, I'll obviously go out, hop in the car, hop on a train, and go and do that. But if I am based in Plymouth for that day or for that week, whatever it may be, then I will go about hitting my to-do lists that I have and my tasks, which are all geared up towards achieving a bigger overall objective over the space of 12 months. So a lot of my time is spent at my gym down at Flex Fitness. So I'll probably get up in the morning, go down the gym, and then I will start hitting the task list. One of the things I don't do, I used to, I don't anymore, after reading a book called The 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, one of the things I won't do now is start my day by reading my emails, because I found that leads to spending most of the rest of the day firefighting emails. As soon as I send one comes back, I then feel compelled to answer it. I do answer it, and I end up in this horrible chain of just going backwards and forwards, and then I don't do the things that I need to do, and I feel horrible for that. So I won't answer my emails until at least lunchtime, and then again later in the evening. And most of my days are spent going through my to-do list, but it's all strategic. It's all been planned, and it's all strategically aligned to achieve a bigger overall objective. Now, I usually eat again at around 10, maybe 10:30 in the morning. I eat little and often throughout the day, and that's a way of me not only keeping my metabolism spiked, but it gives me a constant stream of energy, so I'm not peaking and troughing, and I'm not lagging by the afternoon, because I've had a constant supply of of good food and great nutrition going in my system. And then about an hour after that, I try to get in a workout. You know, the fortunate thing about owning a gym and having one of my offices in the gym is that I literally have to stand up, walk out the office door, and I'm there in the weights room. So I usually try and knock out a gym session. Don't generally have any sort of set routine. I'll just train whatever it is I feel like, unless I have a specific goal in mind. If I have maybe a photo shoot coming up or something of that nature, then I'll structure my workout routines. But generally it's whatever I feel like working, whatever muscle group feels the most rested, I'll train. And then by the time I'm done there, it is usually time to eat again, which I really love doing. So that'd be lunchtime then. Again, I'm quite fortunate. You know, a lot of you guys will know that eating well and getting good nutrition comes down to planning and preparing most of the time. Luckily, we have a partnership done at Flex Fitness with Fuel Catering in Plymouth. We sell their meals at our gym, so I've always got that on my doorstep, so it's quick and convenient and clean, so I can get that done pretty quickly. And then after lunchtime, I'll go about the rest of my day. Now, some of the times it is hitting through that to-do list, some of the times it's meetings, some of the times it's running errands, and some of the times I will spend my day planning. You know, going out there and planning another phase of my overall objectives for the year. And then once we're done there, it's generally home for the evening, spend some time with the family, eat again, and then generally in the evening I'll take my legs off, take my arm off about 6 o'clock, and that's my time to relax and rest a little bit, because wearing prosthetics all day every day can take a toll on your body. You do need to be conscious of that. You do need to factor in the time to rest and recuperate. So in the evenings I will bum shuffle around my house. You've probably seen the videos of me doing that. I walk around on my bum. I don't use a wheelchair. I haven't used one now since June the 9th 2009, thanks to those guys over at Hanger Clinic. And then, you know, that's how I spend my evening, generally with my family, relaxing. And then before I go to bed in the evening, about 8 o'clock, I'll hit those emails again, because I know generally there aren't going to be people that are going to be replying that time of night. And I will do my best in the evenings to get my face stuck into some sort of book for an hour or so. You know, again, trying to have a bit of a mental workout, trying to learn a bit. You know, every day's a school day. We never stop learning. I like to read a lot when I get the time, and if I'm not doing that, I have audiobooks. You know, and I could probably do a whole other series of these videos on productivity and the things I've learned over the year about batching tasks together and compounding and, you know, really utilising my time, making the most of it. But that's pretty much a typical day for me. Most of my days consist of eating, training, and hammering through the to-do lists when I'm in Plymouth. My life is anything but normal. When I'm not in Plymouth, I am travelling the world, speaking. I am online coaching. I am either going and doing my own charity events. I've got one tomorrow actually in Plymouth, at Burrow Reservoir with my partner down at the gym. We're doing a 4-mile event tomorrow, pushing a big JCB tire around. Or I'm doing stuff with the business, trying to grow the business, networking and all that kind of entrepreneurial side of things. So it can get pretty hectic. Now, the other part of the question, what Keith asked, was he wanted to know what pisses me off as an amputee. And as positive as I try to be, there are a few things that do piss me off. One of them, which I've just experienced before I got in my car, is, I'm not going to say abuse, I'm going to say negativity from other disabled people who see me park my car in a disabled bay and make the assumption, based on looking at the top half of my body, that I don't deserve to park there. A lot of the time it's not their fault. You know, they can only see me from pretty much the shoulders up, and they see a youngish, fittish kind of guy, you know, just coming over, parking in disabled space, and they assume that I'm not disabled and therefore not supposed to park there. And I've had people in the past come up to me, knock on my window, especially when I had my Audi R8. That was horrendous, the amount of people that used to come up to me then. But they would question me, and you know, I try my best to be as polite as possible, and I'm proud of the fact that 90% of the time I was as polite as I could be. And generally, when I step out of the car or tell them my injuries, they're actually quite good. They kind of they get a bit embarrassed to start with. They backpedal a bit, but then, you know, they explain, "Oh, I'm sorry, I only saw the top half of your body, you know, and you didn't look like somebody that should have been part of the disabled base." So I'm kind of cool with it now. I'm kind of at peace with it. But it's just, you know, as the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't just look at somebody and assume because they're young, you know, that they aren't disabled, and, you know, they're not warranted to those same facilities. So one of the other things that pisses me off is negativity. There is absolutely no need for it. And it goes back to what I said earlier about watching the news. You need to be conscious that the things around you are influencing you and conditioning you to be negative and have negativity as a go-to response. And I'll tell you now, honestly, you know, being positive is hard. You need to work at it. You need to consciously make an effort every day to do that. You know, when you're in a situation, you need to think, okay, how do I look at this? It's easy to be negative, but if I put the effort and be positive, those little efforts compounded over time is what got me to where I am now. You know, that's what made me have the attitude that I have. That's what made me overcome the things that I did. And that's why, you know, in the humblest possible way I can say this is why my life is so good. Because I made that choice. It just drives me nuts. Like, the people, day in, day out, you speak to people and it's draining. It is draining to listen to people just complaining all the time. And you know what the funny thing is? Half of these people have absolutely no idea how good they've got it. You know, we're not on rations like they were back in the war. We've got an abundance of food and drink available at our doorstep. We don't even have to leave our house anymore. You can order it all on the internet. We've got 6 million TV channels at our fingertips. Admittedly, most of them have garbage on them, but it's all there. We have free healthcare. We have good schools. We have a great country that we live in, you know, with all the natural resources that we want at our fingertips. But people still find things to complain about. Now, don't get me wrong. People, some of the time, have a genuine reason to complain and to whinge about things and to be negative. But most of the time, that's just their go-to response and their choice. You know, you have a choice whether to be positive or negative in any given situation. I mean, look at my situation now. I'm using it because, you know, I know it so well, but I had 3 limbs blown off my body. I was 24 years old, 6'2", 16 stone, a full career ahead of me, full life ahead of me, and then boom. You know, I'm 9 stone 6, 3 feet tall, and back then I assumed stuck in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. Now, I'm not going to say for a second that I just thought, okay, this is fine and we're going to get on with it. I had a lot of negative times in the beginning, like anyone would. But then, after meeting the right people, reading the right materials, and surrounding myself with the right kind of people, I made that choice to focus on the positives in my life. And that is what's made my life so fulfilling. Choosing to be positive. So the thing that pisses me off is negativity. Try it. Just try it. When next time you consciously catch yourself in a situation where you're going to whinge, bitch, moan, and complain about something, think, what is good in this situation? You know, for me, again, I go back to this. Losing 3 limbs sucked. It was shit. After a while, I started to look for the positives in it. And one of the positives was things like this. I can now use my tragedy and the adversity I've faced in my life to hopefully motivate and inspire other people. You know, so if they think their lives are hard and their lives suck, hopefully they can look at videos like this or you know, things on my social media and think, actually, it's not that bad. You know, I just actually came from meeting somebody. I met a guy, David, in the donkey park on the weekend when I took my gran and my kids out. And that was in Cornwall. He happened to live in Plymouth. We lived in the same kind of area. I just went and signed my book, Man Down, for him. And he was telling me about how many people he'd passed that book around to. And, you know, just reading that had changed their attitudes and caused them to be more positive because they realised how bad their lives could be. So I'm going to finish up now, but try that out. You know, next time in fact, try and tell someone else to do it as well. Next time someone tries to be negative to you and they tell you how bad something is in their life, just ask them to name 3 things that are good in their life. And if you can't name 3 things that are good in your life or good about that situation that you're facing, then maybe you've earned the right to be negative. But I guarantee if you try hard enough and you look hard enough, you can find at least one positive in every negative situation. So guys, thank you for tuning into episode 2. I have a huge list of questions that you guys have been sending in via social media and email, which I'm going to try and get through. I aim to do these every 2 weeks. I think I'm going to have to do it a bit more regular than that now, maybe one a week. But I do love this. The Q&A thing it's a passion of mine. I love answering your guys' questions, and you know, inside I really feel that eventually some of these videos are going to hit those people that are suffering and struggling, that need it. So keep the questions coming, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Check out my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, all those things. You know, throw some likes in there, throw some comments in there. I do my best to answer all of my social media questions and inboxes, and if I don't, I at least, you know, hit the like button to let you guys know that I've acknowledged it and I appreciate it. So it's Friday right now. I am just outside school. My eldest daughter, if you saw the post I put on this morning on Friday morning, she is starting secondary school on Monday. She's having a taster day today. So that makes me feel old. You know, and the middle one, the boy, the little warrior, he starts infant school or I don't know what they call it nowadays, but he jumps out of nursery and preschool and he starts school on Monday. So, you know, I'm sure my hair's going to start going grey soon. If not through feeling old, through pulling it out, through stress, having 3 children. But have a great weekend. Thank you again for your questions, and I look forward to the next episode of Out on a Limb.